Welcome back to Investing and Trading Live, sponsored by Trading Academy. As always, I am your host, Josh Lilquist. In the last segment, we covered some topics, obviously on the income side of things. A lot of great people listening to the show here, thousands and thousands of people having obviously good jobs right now. There's a lot of work out there, if you want it, I should say. And a lot of great listeners that want to do more. They want to continue to build wealth, because how you build wealth is extra income. So in the last segment, we covered those different strategies designed to really do two things. One, if someone is looking for an income strategy for now, but also to build more for later. There's assets that are designed for that. You have the futures market, the forex market, and the options market. Also, the stock market is available too. It just requires a little bit more capital. So how to be efficient with your capital is going to be key moving forward with these markets. If you did miss seats for that investing class that we do here locally at the Academy and all across the metro, I'm going to give a phone number here for a call or a text. So if you're driving, you might want to pull over. And these classes are 2 hours long. They're during the day, they're in the evenings. We also have them on the weekends, so we have pretty much made it available to anybody with any type of profession to be able to attend these, especially if you have a goal or objective to be better financially. So call or text the word trading to the number 952-905-0975. That's call or text the word trading to the number 952-905-0975, and that's for 2 seats, one for you and one for a friend. Also, if you want to go online, you can go straight to learnwithota.com. That's learnwithota.com, and you can pick your own date. It goes straight to our landing page with all of our locations, dates, and times. We also appreciate all the subscribers and followers. I've been getting a lot of great comments from multiple states, actually. People in different states that are listening to the podcast. We're trying to make this the global #1 podcast about the financial markets, also on YouTube as well. That's Investing and Trading Live, wherever you listen to your podcast. So, Al, on this next segment, since we covered those income strategies to build wealth, I think it's important that we talk about how to protect wealth. But also, if someone's listening right now and they feel like they're short retirement, they have something set up. Maybe they have 2, 3, 4, 500,000, but they know obviously that's not going to be enough to retire. They feel they need to continue to build that. Now, especially with these markets that are happening right now, we've seen a big drop over the last couple of weeks. Over the last week or so, week and a half, just tearing straight back to the upside, right, going into Thursday, going back into a supply zone where it dropped from originally back on the 1st of August. So that being said, with a multi-directional strategy with your retirement account, now, why is it so much better to have a multi-directional strategy instead of just one direction, which is up, which is what most people are doing because that's all they know? Why is it so important to have a strategy for both directions?
Well, it's because the market is multi-directional. The market never goes in one direction forever. There's always going to be bull markets, there's going to be bear markets, and that's just a fact of life in the financial markets. So if you're only participating in one direction, and for most people that's the upside, what we call the long side of the market, if you're only participating in that side, probably half of your lifetime you're missing out. You're either losing money or you're breaking even.
So with that being said, that's all people know. What can they do differently, say, if they have an IRA? Is there different things they can do?
Well, there are a lot of different things you can do. There's some real limitations to the typical retirement strategy that people have, which is typically a 401k or a 403b, some sort of a employer-sponsored plan. There's some real limitations as to what you can do, and they really almost force you to only participate in the one side of the market, the upside. In an IRA, you have a lot of different choices. You can invest in the same things that you can invest in a 401k, but when we teach our students, I think most of them end up saying, why would I want to do that? Because they're giving me mediocre returns, I get no protection, and I'm only participating in one direction. So in an IRA, you have a lot of choices. First of all, you've eliminated fees, which have a huge impact on the returns of the overall portfolio size you can have. But you can invest in things like we've talked about already, options, futures, the foreign exchange market, things that you probably can't invest in a 401k. You can have protection on your assets, whether it's by using an option strategy or using stop losses, things that probably aren't available in your 401k.
So with multi-directional strategies, with options, you can, shorting is what it's called, you can do that in an IRA then?
Absolutely. You can do that in an IRA. You can not only participate in the upside and the downside, the short side of the market, but you can also have strategies that will benefit regardless of which direction the market goes.
So for example,
you don't have to choose a direction. You don't have to know what direction it's going to go.
So for example, let's just say, well, let's talk about GoDaddy since we talked about that in the last segment.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just say somebody had an IRA and they really liked GoDaddy for whatever reason, but they wanted to participate in GoDaddy, but let's say from 2000, gosh, going back on a price chart here, from 2020, we'll say 2020 to 2024, price was within a very small range. So there's a strategy that actually you can get paid if price doesn't move between there. Say it's between 80 and 100. If price stays around there, you can still have profits or strategies for that.
Right. And one of the reasons that options are called options is because there are so many options or so many choices within that family. So yeah, you can participate on the upside, on the downside of the market, and also when the market is basically asleep, when it's not moving.
So let's just say within 1 month. Let's look at the S&P 500 for example. Okay. Now, just looking at a price chart here, let's just say in 1 month from June 18th to now, which is about a month and a half.
Mm-hmm.
Price is almost exactly where it was at in June 18th. Mm-hmm. So you can actually have profits if price didn't even move there.
Exactly.
Yep. So it's an option strategy?
It's an option strategy, and the pros out there are using all these strategies. People wonder why they don't get the kind of returns that the pros get, and by pros I'm talking about hedge fund managers, people like Warren Buffett, or companies like Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan. Why are they always consistently profitable? It's because they know how to use those assets. And that's what we do. We teach people how to use those assets, things that you're not being taught in the traditional source of financial education, which is very limited to begin with, by the way. But there are a lot of things that you need to take into consideration. If you're looking at, you made a comment before, you said that you want to build wealth for later. The problem is most people, especially now with the cost of staying alive, with what inflation has done to people's income, and I think we mentioned this earlier in this show, where over 50% of the people that make six-figure incomes are living paycheck to paycheck. The problem there is that where does the money for your wealth come from? Where does the money that goes into a portfolio that builds wealth for the future come from? It comes from extra money that you have after the cost of living has been covered. That's the income part of it. And the problem is most financial advisors out there already assume that you have achieved that, you have some money in a wealth bucket, and then they will concentrate on that. Unfortunately, for a lot of people, that bucket is not filled properly, and for a lot of people, it's not filled at all. We look at the average retirement account in the country as being around $70,000, but most people think you need over $2 million to retire comfortably. Those numbers don't look very good for most people.
Yeah, so let's just say, for example, somebody has an IRA or a 401k and it's being managed by somebody. They're being, you were in that business for many years. You're probably 100% in the market, right?
Well,
roughly.
Not really, because that's one of the problems. People are not properly positioned. There's kind of this go-to 60-40 split where people are, when you're younger, you put in 60% equities, 40% bonds. As you get older, they flip that.
But it's in the market, though.
It's in the market. Actually, yes.
Yes. So, which means it's 100% at risk.
Correct. That's absolutely correct.
If you have, let's just say $300,000 in a retirement account, and it's all in the market, it's 100% at risk, which I would say is very risky, in my opinion. Now, the strategy that we're talking about with this option strategy is actually, I would argue, a very conservative strategy because why? You can use less capital.
Exactly.
You're not risking your whole portfolio, and it doesn't even matter which way the direction goes.
Right.
So these strategies are available to us. You just have to understand what they are.
Right.
And in these investing classes that I'll give away seats to here in a minute, we cover these different strategies. What's available for your retirement account? What's available for your IRA, 401k? So if you feel like you're short, there are strategies to try to boost that by using leverage. Or if you're a person that just wants to be conservative and protect the majority of your money, but still have an income strategy off that retirement, there are strategies for that as well. So come into these classes and we'll illustrate that for you. We can only talk about it so much on the radio here, but if you come into these classes, we'll show you how that's done and those techniques. So simply just call or text the word trading to the number 952-905-0975, and that's for 2 seats for an investing class on the options market. 952-905-0975, or go to learnwithota.com for 2 seats for an investing class. That's learnwithota.com. Al, we got a lot more to discuss. Coming up next, stay tuned for Investing and Trading Live. This is Josh and Al. We will be right back.